Okay, so now that our end mill's installed and our piece is not moving, we're ready to turn on the router. So you press the on button on the right here, and that just turns the gantry on. So the actual router is not turned on yet, but now the gantry is. So now we can move over to our software. So this software is Carbide Motion, so this controls the machine. So this is not where you design any of your cam. This is just where you upload and run it. So now we would press connect to cutter and then initialize. So it's just going to zero all the axes to its default origin point. Okay, so now as you can see the screen changed, so we have different options. Load new file, quick actions, but actually at the top here, there's a new tab called jog. So that's the one we want. So now we're trying to get our 0 location that we referenced in our cam. And with that, we want to define where that 0 is on our actual part. So now it's all the way in the back right corner, but our 0 we said was the top of the piece in the bottom left corner. So we can either use the keyboard here with the arrows to jog it. Oh, but what we want to do is check that the increment. So right now we want it to move fast. So we turn the increment up to fast. So now if we press the arrows, so that moves our Y, and this moves our X. But if we want to do it faster, we could just press rapid position. And let's say we want to go, so this is facing us. So this is the closest, so I press south. And then press done. So the first thing we want to do is 0 our X and our Y location. So I'm just going to lower the spindle down. Well, I'll move it over the piece using the arrows, approximately where the 0 is. And now I'll go here and I'll lower the Z axis with Z minus, but I want to stay a little bit above the piece. I don't want to go all the way down yet. So now that our Z is pretty close, we'll move our X and Y more to center it on the corner of our piece. So now this increment's a little big, so I'll turn the increment down 1 so I can have more precise control. And down a little bit more. And as you can see, that's about good for the operation I'm doing. So now that we have our X and Y set where we like it, we go to set 0, and then X, Y, 0 the X, 0 the Y, but don't press 0 the Z yet. So now we can press done. Now we want to 0 our Z axis. So this is the manual method. So we'll grab a piece of paper and we'll stick it underneath, and we just want to lower the Z axis, as you can see on the screen. I want to lower the Z axis until I can't move the paper. So, okay, so then move it up a little bit so you can move the paper again, and then lower your increment, and then again bring it back down. Okay, now I can't really move it. All right, that's the lowest increment we can do. And now I'll lower it again, 1 more of the smallest increment to account for the thickness of the paper. And then I would go back to set 0. So we didn't move the X or Y axes at all. So those are still at 0. And now we want to 0 the Z. Press done. And then we want to move the Z up a little bit, change our increment, move the Z up so we don't hit our part when we move it around. Now, so that was the manual method to get your X, Y, and Z zeroed. And there's also an automated method that we'll show in a different video.